The stars glimmered quietly above Earth, each one a silent witness to the infinite mysteries of the galaxy. In the cold void of space, a silver ship moved like a ghost, silent, invisible, and confident. It belonged to the Zarn Collective, one of the most advanced alien species in the Orion sector. Their mission tonight was simple: to observe Earth, collect a few samples, and leave without being noticed. At least, that was the plan. Captain Thrix, the leader of the small expedition, stood on the command bridge. His skin shimmered faintly under the dim blue lights of the ship. The Zarn had large eyes that reflected light like mirrors, and their long fingers moved with machine-like precision over the control panels. To them, this mission was routine. Humans were just another primitive species, like many they had studied before. "Landing sequence initiated," said Officer Krell, checking the glowing console. "Coordinates locked. A human settlement near the planet's northern continent. Low population density, minimal detection risk." Thrix nodded calmly. "Good. Remember, no direct contact. We collect the young biologicals, study them, and release them once we are done. The High Council will be pleased with new data." Krell hesitated for a moment. "Humans are unpredictable, Captain. Should we not take extra caution?" Thrix gave a faint, dismissive smile. "They still believe in weather gods and invisible spirits, Krell. What could they possibly do to us?" The ship descended quietly through the thin clouds cloaked from human eyes. It landed near a field on the edge of a quiet town. The time was close to midnight, and the world below was asleep. The Zarn stepped out in silence, their metallic suits blending into the night. They moved toward a small building with bright colors, strange shapes, and a sign painted with cheerful letters: Sunnybrook Elementary School. Inside, 5 children were staying overnight for a science camp. They were between 8 and 10 years old, full of laughter, curiosity, and imagination. They had fallen asleep in their sleeping bags, surrounded by toy rockets, space posters, and snack wrappers. The alien scanners beeped softly. 5 small biologicals detected, said Krell. Energy levels low. They appear harmless. Thrix looked at the readings. Perfect. Juveniles are ideal for testing early-stage learning responses. Take them gently. The aliens used a harmless beam of light to lift the sleeping children aboard their ship. Everything was quiet. The mission, Thrix thought, was going smoothly. The next morning, the Zarn ship rose through the sky and disappeared into orbit. Inside the ship, Thrix stood proudly on the bridge. Data collection complete, he said. Prepare the containment chamber. But something strange happened. The children woke up, and instead of screaming or crying, they looked around with wide, amazed eyes. Whoa, said Leo, the oldest boy, as he sat up. This isn't our classroom. Beside him, Mia, a cheerful girl with short hair, blinked at the glowing walls. Are we in a spaceship? This is awesome! The aliens exchanged confused glances. No other species had ever reacted like this. Most beings cried, panicked, or tried to escape. But these humans, they were smiling. Thrix cleared his throat, or whatever sound served as one. Do not be alarmed, he said through the translation device. You are guests. We mean no harm. The children gathered together, whispering excitedly. It can talk, said Ryan, eyes shining. Do you think it's a real alien? Mia nodded eagerly. Definitely. Look at its eyes, so cool. Thrix frowned. This is not a toy. You are inside a Zarn research vessel. Remain calm. Leo stepped forward, hands on his hips. So you're aliens? Do you have a name? I'm Leo, the captain blinked. Name? I am Thrix, captain of the Zarn. Hi, Thrix. The children said together, waving. Krell looked horrified. Captain, they are unafraid. I can see that, Thrix muttered. Soon the ship's hallways were filled with laughter and footsteps. The children explored every corner, asking endless questions. What does this button do? What's this glowing thing? Do you eat food or just light? The aliens tried to maintain order, but the humans' energy was unstoppable. Mia found a floating orb used for scanning and began bouncing it like a toy. Ryan discovered the ship's computer could project images, so he played old Earth cartoons on it. Even Leo managed to open the translation database and started teaching the aliens how to say hello in 10 different Earth languages. By the time Thrix returned to the bridge, he was exhausted, something he had never felt before. Captain, Krell said nervously, the juveniles have modified 3 data systems and reprogrammed the gravity control. They are very active, Thrix groaned. How is this possible? They are small, fragile. Krell tilted his head. Perhaps they are. Intellectually advanced? Thrix shook his head. Impossible. The humans have barely reached planetary travel. Just then the ship lurched slightly. On the control screen, colorful shapes appeared. Smiley faces, stars, and cartoon rockets. Leo's voice came from behind. We added decorations to your screens. Now it looks more fun. Thrix's jaw dropped. You altered the navigation interface? It was boring before, Mia said innocently. After a few hours, the children started asking questions that made the aliens uncomfortable. Why did you take us? Do you have families? Do you go to school? Thrix didn't know how to answer. The Zarn didn't have families like humans did. They were born from gene vats raised by machines and trained for work from the moment they could think. To them, curiosity was a weakness, not a strength yet. Watching these human children laugh and explore, Thrix felt something unusual, something like admiration. These humans, Krell whispered, are not like others. They are unpredictable. Yes, Thrix replied softly, and I am beginning to wonder if we are the ones being studied. Later, the High Council sent a message to check on the mission. Thrix stood before the holographic screen, bowing respectfully as the Elder Zarn appeared. Report, Captain Thrix, said the Elder in a calm, echoing voice. Have you collected your biological samples? Yes, Elder, Thrix replied. 5 human juveniles, they are unusual. The Elder's reflective eyes narrowed. Juveniles? You captured human children? Yes, Elder, they are small, curious, and… The Elder interrupted sharply. Return them. Immediately. Thrix froze. Return them? But we have not yet studied their… Do you wish to endanger us all, Captain? The Elder thundered. You must not hold human children. Thrix was confused. They are harmless. They are not soldiers, not even adults. The Elder's tone grew urgent. You do not understand. Humans are strange. Their young are more dangerous than their armies. Krell looked terrified. Dangerous? But they do not even have weapons. The Elder leaned forward. You will see, Captain. Return them before their kind comes for you. Once long ago we made the same mistake, and we nearly lost a fleet. Thrix felt a chill run through his body. He looked toward the corridor where the children were playing tag using the ship's anti-gravity field. They laughed, floating weightlessly, completely unaware of the danger the aliens believed in. They are just children, Thrix whispered. How could they be a threat? Because they are human, the Elder said. And that is reason enough. The screen went dark. Silence filled the bridge. The crew looked at their captain, waiting for orders. For the first time in his career, Thrix did not know what to do. He turned and saw Leo drifting near the window, staring at the stars. Captain Thrix, the boy said softly. Is that Earth down there? Thrix followed his gaze. The blue planet shone brightly below, full of oceans, clouds, and light. So small, yet so full of life. Yes, Thrix said. That is your home. Leo smiled. It's beautiful. Do you ever go home, Captain? Thrix hesitated. We do not have a home as you do. Mia floated beside them, her voice gentle. Then you can visit ours. My mom makes great pancakes. Thrix didn't know what pancakes were, but something in the child's tone made him feel a warmth he hadn't known before. Maybe curiosity wasn't weakness after all. Maybe it was something powerful. He looked at the crew and said quietly, Prepare the ship. We are returning to Earth. Krell stared in disbelief. Captain? Thrix nodded. Perhaps the Elder is right. Humans are not to be studied. They are to be respected. As the ship turned toward Earth, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, as if they too were smiling. Part 2. The Confusion. The Zarn research ship drifted silently through the upper atmosphere of Earth. From the outside, it looked calm and peaceful, a perfect example of alien precision. But inside the ship, everything was far from calm. 5 human children had turned the advanced alien vessel into something that looked more like a school, playground than a science lab. Captain. Thrix stood in the middle of the control deck, trying to make sense of the chaos. The sound of laughter filled the air as the children floated around in zero gravity. They were wearing the aliens' training helmets and glowing wristbands, pretending to be space explorers. Officer Krell approached nervously, holding a scanner that beeped wildly. Captain, he said, the juveniles have modified the energy grid again. They say they're making it more colorful. The reactor now glows pink. Thrix rubbed the side of his head, his patience fading. Pink? Our power core is supposed to emit stable blue light. Mia, who was floating upside down nearby, grinned.
Blue is boring.
Pink is happy. Krell's scanner beeped louder. Captain, they have somehow increased efficiency by 7%. Thrix paused. Wait, they improved it? Krell nodded. Yes, but I don't understand how. Thrix sighed deeply. I don't either. The children soon discovered the ship's communication room. Leo pressed buttons at random until the giant holographic display lit up, showing hundreds of glowing symbols. Whoa, this looks like a video game, Leo said, his eyes wide. It's not a game, Thrix said quickly, stepping forward. That is our long-range communication console. Do not touch anything. Okay, Leo said, and then touched the largest button on the screen. Instantly, a loud tone filled the air. The hologram flickered to life, revealing the image of a very old alien with silver eyes. Elder Zura, one of the most respected members of the Zarn High Council. Captain Thrix, the elder's voice boomed. Report your progress. Thrix straightened his posture, trying to look professional. Yes, Elder. We have successfully retrieved 5 human juveniles for observation. The elder's silver eyes blinked. Did you say juveniles? Yes, Elder. They are small, harmless, and before Thrix could finish, the elder interrupted. You captured human children? Are you insane? The children gasped. Hey, who's that? Mia asked, waving at the hologram. The elder froze. Is that one of them? Leo smiled and waved too. Hi, shiny alien person. I'm Leo. What's your name? The elder's expression turned from confusion to alarm. Captain Thrix released them at once. Return them to their home. But Elder, no excuses. The elder said firmly. You have no idea what you've done. The hologram vanished, leaving the room in silence. Thrix stood there, stunned. What had just happened? Krell looked equally shocked. The elder spoke as if these children were dangerous. Thrix turned toward the group of smiling faces. Dangerous? Them? They're just playing. Mia floated closer. Did we do something wrong? Thrix looked down at her and sighed. I don't know, but apparently my entire species thinks you are a threat. After a while, the children gathered in the ship's dining area, though it didn't look like a dining area anymore. The aliens didn't need food in the human sense. They absorbed energy from nutrient gels, but the kids were hungry. Do you have any sandwiches? Leo asked hopefully. Thrix blinked. Sandwiches? It's food, Mia explained. You put stuff between bread and eat it, Krell whispered. They eat solid matter, Captain. How primitive, Ryan frowned. It's not primitive. It's tasty. Thrix sighed. We have nutrient capsules. The children stared at the small glowing cubes Thrix placed on the table. Mia poked one. Is it safe? Completely, Thrix replied. She took a bite and made a face. Tastes like burnt soap, Leo laughed. Maybe we can teach them about real food. Hours passed and the aliens grew more confused. Instead of acting frightened, the children were curious about everything. They asked hundreds of questions about stars, planets, and alien life. At one point, Leo managed to connect his school tablet to the ship's computer. Within minutes, he downloaded and translated hundreds of Zarn scientific files. Krell stared at the screen. Captain, the human boy just hacked our research database. Thrix turned, shocked. That's impossible. That system is protected by 10 levels of encryption. He said it was easy, Krell replied. Thrix looked at Leo, who was grinning proudly. Your security codes are all patterns of 3s. Once I saw that, it was simple. The captain blinked. He solved an advanced encryption pattern. For fun? Leo shrugged. I like puzzles. Thrix felt something stir in his chest, admiration mixed with unease. These children were doing things his trained scientist couldn't. Later, when the children fell asleep, Thrix and his crew gathered on the bridge. The soft hum of the ship surrounded them. Krell broke the silence. Captain, the High Council's reaction. What did it mean? Thrix looked at the sleeping children through the observation glass. It means we are missing something about this species. Something important. He remembered the elder's fearful words. You have no idea what you've done. Thrix began to wonder if the stories about humans were not as simple as the Zarn believed. Maybe, he said softly. Humans are not primitive. Maybe they are extraordinary, Krell tilted his head. Extraordinary how? Thrix turned back to the stars. They adapt. They learn faster than any species I've seen, and they are fearless. Even their children are unafraid of the unknown. As they spoke, a soft giggle echoed through the corridor. Mia had woken up and was trying to teach one of the ship's drones how to play tag. Krell groaned. "Captain, they are awake again," Thrix sighed. Then the lesson continues. The next day, the ship's sensors detected something strange. Dozens of signals rising from Earth's surface. "Captain!" Krell shouted. "Human satellites are tracking us." Thrix frowned. "Impossible. Our cloaking system is perfect." Krell pointed at the screen. "It seems the humans detected us within hours of our takeoff." "How?" Thrix demanded. Mia peeked into the room. "Oh, that might be my fault. I used your ship's radio to call my mom. I told her we were safe." Thrix froze. "You contacted Earth?" "Yes," she said innocently. "She said dinner's waiting when we get back." Krell looked horrified. "Captain, this is a disaster." Thrix didn't respond. He simply stared at the little girl, amazed at how calm she was. These children had just alerted an entire planet, yet they looked as if they had done something ordinary. Hours later, the communication screen flashed again. The Elder appeared once more, his expression grim. "Captain Thrix," he said, "the humans are aware of your presence. Their world leaders have sent messages into space demanding the return of their young." Thrix straightened. "We were preparing to do so, Elder." "Good," said the Elder. "Do it quickly. You have no idea what humans do when they are angry." "But they have shown no aggression," Thrix argued. "They are kind." The Elder's tone softened, but his eyes were filled with warning. "That kindness is what makes them powerful, Captain. They protect what they love. Do not test their limits." The hologram faded again. Thrix turned to Krell. "Set a course for Earth. We will return them immediately." Krell nodded, though his hands trembled slightly. "Yes, Captain." As the ship descended toward Earth's atmosphere, the children gathered at the main window. The planet shone below, blue oceans, white clouds, and glowing cities like stars upon the surface. "It's so beautiful," Mia whispered. Thrix looked at her, then at the planet. "Yes, it truly is," Leo smiled. "Thank you for the ride, Captain Thrix. Can we visit again someday?" Thrix almost laughed. "Perhaps, but next time let us agree on an invitation first." The children giggled. Inside, the aliens felt something new. Not fear, not confusion, but respect. They had expected to study a weak, primitive race. Instead, they found courage, creativity, and innocence wrapped in laughter. As the ship began its landing sequence, Thrix spoke softly to his crew. "Remember this day, everyone. We thought we captured them, but I think they captured us instead." Krell tilted his head. "Captured, Captain?" "Yes," Thrix said with a faint smile. "Captured our curiosity. When the ship finally reached the edge of the town where it had all begun, dawn was breaking. Golden light spilled over the horizon. The children pressed their faces to the window, excited to go home. Thrix watched them quietly. He felt a strange warmth in his chest, pride, maybe even affection. For the first time, he understood what the Elder meant. Humans were different. As the hatch opened and the children ran down the ramp, laughing and waving goodbye, Thrix whispered to himself, "Perhaps the universe has much to learn from Earth." The ship lifted gently into the sky, vanishing into the morning clouds. But Thrix knew this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning of something much larger, a friendship that might one day change the galaxy. The Zarn research ship floated quietly in orbit after returning the human children. The Earth below glowed like a precious gem, blue, green, and alive. The children were safely home, but Captain Thrix could not rest. Something about the Elder's words kept echoing in his mind. "You do not understand. Humans are strange. Their young are more dangerous than their armies." He sat in the observation room, staring at Earth, lost in thought. Every star outside seemed to whisper a question he could not answer. What was it about humans that frightened even the mighty Zarn Council? Officer Krell entered silently, holding a glowing data pad. "Captain," he said softly, "the High Council has summoned you." "They wish to discuss your actions," Thrix nodded. "I expected that. Prepare the transmission." The lights dimmed as a massive hologram filled the chamber. Several elders appeared, wise ancient Zarn leaders whose eyes carried the weight of centuries. In the center stood Elder Zura, his voice calm but serious. Captain Thrix of the Exploration Unit, he began. Your mission was unauthorized in its final act. You contacted a forbidden planet. You brought human juveniles aboard your ship. Do you realize the danger? Thrix bowed respectfully. Elder, I meant no disrespect. The children were unharmed. They even improved our ship's systems. Surely this proves they are not a threat. The chamber fell silent. Then Zura said slowly, That is exactly what makes them dangerous. Thrix frowned. I do not understand. Elder Zura sighed, his voice heavy with memory. Then listen, Captain. You're too young to remember the first human encounter, but I was there. The forgotten history long ago when the Zarn Collective was still expanding through the stars, they discovered a small blue planet filled with life. It was Earth before humans had even reached space. The Zarn observed them quietly, fascinated by how fast they learned and adapted. At first, they thought humans were fragile creatures, simple, emotional, unpredictable. But when the Zarn took a few adults for study, something happened that shocked the entire galaxy. In less than a decade, humans advanced beyond their known technology. They built machines, ships, and networks not to conquer, but to find. They searched the skies for their missing people with determination, unlike anything the Zarn had ever seen. Zura's voice grew quiet. They built without rest. They discovered space travel faster than predicted. They crossed barriers of science we thought impossible. All because they refused to give up on a few lost ones. Thrix's eyes widened. They did all that. For just a few? Yes, said Zura. To humans, no one is unimportant. They fight not for power, but for love, curiosity, and belonging. That makes them stronger than reason. Another elder spoke, her voice sharp and clear. When the humans finally found our observation ships, they did not attack. They sent a message. A message? Thrix asked softly. The elder nodded. They said, Return our people and we will teach you friendship. We did not understand their meaning. We thought it was a trick. But when we returned the humans, they shared everything they learned, science, music, language, with open hearts. They forgave us, Thrix's mind spun. They forgave you? After what happened? Zura looked down. Yes, and that forgiveness changed us. It made us realize how small our pride had been. But not every Zarn accepted that lesson. Some feared that humanity's emotions would one day reshape the galaxy. Thrix whispered, And you think it will? Zura's gaze turned toward Earth. It already has. You have seen it yourself. Even their children change everything they touch. The captain's doubt after the meeting, the holograms faded, leaving Thrix alone with his thoughts. The bridge lights flickered softly as the ship orbited Earth. Krell entered, silent as always. Captain, he said, the High Council's orders are clear. We must return to our sector. Thrix nodded, but his eyes were still on the planet below. Tell me, Krell, do you fear them? Krell hesitated. I used to, but after seeing those children I do not know anymore. They are small, yet their minds are vast. They ask questions no data can answer. Perhaps that is why the elders fear them, because they cannot predict them. Thrix smiled faintly. Yes, the unknown frightens even the wise. For a moment both stood silently, watching the sunrise spread across the curve of Earth. Messages from Earth. Suddenly, the ship's communication system beeped. A transmission request appeared, not from the Zarn Council, but from Earth. Krell's eyes widened. It's from the planet's surface. They've found our frequency. Thrix hesitated. Open the channel. The screen flickered and a human face appeared. Dr. Aisha Morgan, a scientist from Earth's Space Command. Her voice was calm, polite, and full of curiosity. Unidentified vessel, she said. We detected your ship's energy pattern during re-entry. I believe you were the ones who returned our children safely. On behalf of Earth, I thank you. Thrix blinked. You are not angry? Dr. Morgan smiled gently. No, the children said you treated them kindly. You gave them an adventure they'll never forget. Humans don't forget kindness, Captain, Krell whispered. They thank us instead of accusing us? Strange species, Thrix's voice softened. You honor us, Doctor. We only wish to understand. Dr. Morgan nodded. Then perhaps we can understand each other. If you ever wish to visit peacefully, you'll be welcome. The signal ended. Thrix sat quietly, stunned. Even after being taken from their planet, humans offered friendship again, just as Zura's story described. The crew's discovery later, The Zarn scientists gathered data from the visit. Every file, every scan, every word the children had spoken was recorded. One of the technicians, a young Zarn named Rin, approached Thrix. "Captain, you should see this," she said. On the display screen appeared a strange pattern, numbers, symbols and shapes left by the human children in the ship system. At first it looked like random doodles, but when analyzed, the pattern formed a complete code, a universal greeting in multiple mathematical formats. They made this while they were playing? Thrix asked, amazed. Rin nodded. "Yes, Captain. It seems they were trying to create a message for any alien who might find it. The message, when translated, said, 'Hello, friends from the stars. Don't be afraid. We just want to learn.'" The crew stared in silence. Krell finally spoke. "They leave friendship encoded in math, while we hide behind fear." Thrix looked around at his team. "Do you still think they are primitive?" No one answered. A new understanding. That night, if night could exist in space, Thrix stood by the observation window again. The stars shone like silver rivers. He remembered the way Mia had laughed, the way Leo had proudly fixed the ship's controls, and the way they had all looked at space, not with fear, but wonder. He realized that the power of humanity was not in their technology or strength. It was in their hearts, their curiosity, and their endless hope. He whispered to himself, "Perhaps the universe doesn't need to fear them. Perhaps it needs them." Krell joined him quietly. "Captain, shall we report back to the council?" Thrix turned to him and smiled faintly. "Yes, but not with fear, with truth." He activated the communication console and began recording a message for the council. "Honored elders," he said. "You once told me that human children are dangerous. I now understand why. They do not destroy, they inspire. They change everything around them, not with power but with kindness. If that is danger, then perhaps it is the kind the galaxy needs." He paused, then added softly, "We must learn from them, not hide from them." Hope among the stars. When the message ended, the ship turned slowly, ready to leave Earth's orbit. The blue planet grew smaller in the window, but its light still reflected in the captain's eyes. The crew prepared for warp travel, but Thrix gave one final order. "Leave a signal beacon behind," he said. "Something simple." "What kind of signal, Captain?" Krell asked. Thrix smiled. "A greeting, in their way." And so the Zarn left a small satellite orbiting Earth, carrying a message that read, "We came as strangers, but left as students. Thank you, humans." As the engines hummed to life, Thrix looked back one last time. "Farewell, children of Earth," he whispered. "You have taught us more than any stars ever could." The ship disappeared into the deep, dark sky, leaving behind only a faint trail of light, a promise between two worlds. The Zarn ship drifted silently through the blackness of space, its silver hull gleaming faintly under the distant light of distant suns. Captain Thrix sat on the observation deck, staring at the Earth slowly turning beneath them. The planet was alive, its cities glowing faintly even from orbit, oceans shimmering under the sunlight and clouds drifting gracefully over the continents. Beside him, Officer Krell shifted nervously. "Captain," he said softly, "the High Council is still discussing our report. They are hesitant." Thrix nodded. "I expected as much. They have always feared humans. But after what we saw, I can no longer share that fear." A small beep interrupted their thoughts. The ship's communication console had lit up, a signal from Earth. The holographic screen flickered and a familiar human face appeared. Dr. Aisha Morgan from Space Command. Her expression was calm yet full of curiosity. "Captain Thrix," she said warmly, "we received your message and the signal beacon. Thank you. Humanity appreciates your honesty and care toward our children." Thrix bowed slightly. "Dr. Morgan, it is an honor to speak to you. Your people, your children, they have taught us more than any academy ever could." Dr. Morgan's eyes twinkled. "I am sure the children would be proud to hear that. They often speak of their adventure aboard your ship. You treated them kindly, Captain. That is what we remember." Leo's voice suddenly rang from behind the console. "Wait, they know we were nice?" "That's awesome." Mia laughed. "I told them we liked the ship." Krell's antennae twitched nervously. "Captain, they understand our words? How?" Thrix smiled faintly. "Humans are quick learners, faster than any species we have encountered. They do not just hear, and they comprehend, and they remember. The children's impact. The children had returned safely to Earth, but their adventure did not go unnoticed. In schools, families, and even in local news channels, the story of the space visit spread quickly. Ryan had written a small journal about what he saw, including illustrations of glowing panels, floating orbs, and aliens who looked like shimmering statues. Mia had shared every detail with her classmates, explaining how they laughed, floated, and even played tag in zero gravity. Even Leo had created a simple map of the ship, complete with notes on the alien controls and their experiments. The stories fascinated not only other children but adults as well. Scientists and engineers were amazed. If children could figure out advanced alien technology so quickly, what could humans accomplish together? Back on the Zarn ship, Thrix observed Earth through the wide observation window. "Captain," Krell said nervously, they are learning faster than we expected. And not just children. The adults are starting to analyze the data we left behind in the beacon. Thrix nodded slowly. Yes, and that is exactly why the elders fear them. Humans grow, adapt, and learn at a pace that is difficult to predict. Even a small act or a child's curiosity can ripple across their entire species. Preparing for a meeting, the humans on Earth decided that peaceful communication was essential. Dr. Morgan convened a virtual council with experts from different continents. Their goal was clear: understand the Zarn Collective without fear and perhaps form a friendship. Meanwhile, Captain Thrix prepared a similar meeting on the Zarn ship. He gathered his crew and addressed them in a calm tone. "We have returned the juveniles," he said, "and we have received responses from their leaders. They do not seek revenge. They do not wish to fight. They only want to understand this is unprecedented." Krell's voice trembled slightly. "Captain, they thank us, yet we captured their children." "How is that possible?" Thrix smiled faintly. "That is human strength. They forgive, but they also teach. Even when we made a mistake, they chose understanding over anger." The crew looked thoughtful. For the first time, they did not feel like teachers or explorers. They felt like students. The first meeting, after several hours, a virtual meeting was arranged. The human delegation appeared on the ship's holographic screen. Leaders, scientists, and educators, all calm, all smiling. The children themselves appeared alongside them. Leo waved. "I remember us?" Mia nodded. "We came to say thank you." The humans' leader, Dr. Morgan, addressed the crew formally. "Captain Thrix, officers of the Zarn ship, we understand your intentions. We are grateful that our children were treated kindly. We hope this can be the beginning of a friendship between our species." Thrix bowed. "It would be an honor, Dr. Morgan. We came seeking knowledge, and instead we found understanding." One of the Zarn scientists, Rin, whispered to Krell, "They are smiling. Even after everything, they are welcoming us." Krell nodded slowly. "Yes, this is not fear. This is strength." Learning from each other over the next few days, humans and Zarn exchanged knowledge. The children were at the center of this collaboration. They demonstrated simple Earth games, shared puzzles, and even taught the aliens basic concepts of humor and kindness. Thrix watched in quiet amazement. Mia had drawn a diagram of Earth's solar system using glowing lines on the holographic deck. Leo had created a simple math puzzle to explain patterns in the stars. Ryan, quiet and thoughtful, had discovered an efficient method to organize the ship's navigation algorithms. The aliens had never encountered anything like this. Even their most advanced training programs could not teach a child's curiosity or insight. Thrix realized something that the elders had known all along. Humans were not dangerous because of power. They were powerful because of curiosity, courage, and kindness. Even children carried that strength, a shared adventure. One day, the children asked to explore the ship again, not as captives, but as guests. Thrix hesitated, then agreed. Mia floated through the corridors, her eyes shining. "Look, the walls are glowing. Can we touch them?" Thrix nodded. "Yes, but carefully." Leo approached the control panels, adjusting a few switches. "See, I remember how these worked." Krell whispered to Thrix, "Captain, they are improving the systems again." Thrix smiled faintly. "Yes, but this time it is not theft. It is collaboration." The Zarn crew began to realize that humans taught without meaning to. A single idea, a single touch, could change their technology, their thinking, and perhaps even their culture. The children's lesson at the end of the visit: The children gathered in the observation room. Looking out at the stars, Ryan spoke first. I think space is amazing. So many stars, so many planets, Mia nodded. And even if some are scary, we can explore them together. With friends, Leo smiled. Even aliens can be our friends if we try. Thrix watched silently. He had learned a lesson far beyond science or technology. It was a lesson about life, about courage, kindness, and curiosity. He said softly, "You are remarkable, children. You have changed our ship, and perhaps our species too," Mia giggled. "We just like exploring," Thrix smiled. "And that is enough." A promise between worlds before leaving, the children and humans agreed on a plan to continue contact. Earth would share knowledge peacefully. The Zarn would offer guidance and cooperation. Thrix prepared a final message to the High Council. "Honored elders, we have returned safely from the humans. Their children and leaders are unlike any species we have encountered. They teach without fear, explore without arrogance, and forgive without hesitation. I believe humanity is not a threat, but a force for curiosity, understanding, and growth. I recommend that we observe them as partners, not conquerors." Krell added quietly, "Captain, this may change the way we see the universe forever." Thrix nodded. "It already has." The children waved from Earth as the Zarn ship prepared to leave orbit. Thrix watched their small faces smiling, fearless and full of wonder. For the first time in his life, he realized that power was not measured by strength, speed, or weaponry. It was measured by heart, curiosity, and courage, qualities that humans had in abundance. And as the Zarn ship rose into space, Thrix whispered to his crew, "Remember this day. Remember these children. They are the future, and perhaps the teachers of the galaxy." The Zarn ship glided silently above the blue and green expanse of Earth. Captain Thrix stood on the observation deck, watching the planet rotate beneath him. Cities sparkled faintly, rivers shimmered under sunlight, and clouds moved gracefully across mountains and plains. Beside him, Officer Krell checked the communication console. "Captain," he said softly, "Earth has sent another transmission. This one is from their leaders, and it seems enthusiastic." Thrix nodded, curiosity stirring in his mind. "Open the channel." The screen flickered, and Dr. Aisha Morgan appeared again, smiling warmly. She was joined by several other humans, teachers, scientists, and even children. They waved as the hologram stabilized. "Captain Thrix, crew of the Zarn ship," Dr. Morgan said, "we are grateful for your honesty and your respect toward our children. We would like to invite your species to collaborate with us, not as conquerors or observers, but as friends and explorers." Thrix felt a strange mix of pride and humility. The humans were not threatening. They were inviting. They were giving a chance for understanding and cooperation, something the Zarn had never expected from a species they once feared. The children's role. The 5 children. Mia, Leo, Ryan, Zara, and Ethan appeared alongside the adults. They waved enthusiastically. "Hello again," Mia called. "We want to show you more about Earth." Leo grinned. "And maybe we can explore space together next time." Thrix watched quietly, a faint smile on his face. The children were fearless, curious, and kind. Their excitement was contagious. Even the most serious Zarn officers couldn't help but smile. Krell whispered, "Captain, they are leading this, and we are learning from them." Thrix nodded. "Yes. Their courage and curiosity are teaching us more than any manual or lecture ever could." The children demonstrated games, puzzles, and experiments designed to teach the Zarn about human creativity. They mixed simple math with storytelling, and while the aliens learned, they also laughed, something most Zarn thought they could not do naturally. Thrix realized that humans taught without even trying. Their joy and curiosity were as infectious as sunlight. A shared mission. After several days of exchange, the humans proposed a joint project to explore nearby star systems together. The idea was simple yet bold. Humans would send a small team aboard a shared vessel with the Zarn, combining technology, knowledge, and imagination from both species. Thrix studied the proposal carefully. "Captain," Krell whispered, "this is unprecedented. No other species has ever been offered this kind of partnership." Thrix nodded slowly. "It is, and it is exactly what we need. Cooperation, not domination. Understanding, not fear. Humans, they see the universe as something to explore and learn from, not conquer." The crew prepared for the first joint mission. The children were included as honorary explorers, their curiosity guiding every step. Mia carefully checked the navigation system. Leo examined the reactor core. Ryan adjusted the communication arrays. Their small hands made big changes, proving the wisdom of Zura's words. Even the youngest humans could influence outcomes in ways the Zarn never imagined. First steps together. When the ship left Earth's orbit, the children's excitement was palpable. Mia floated near the observation window, pointing at the stars. "Look, that one is twinkling more than the others." Leo smiled. "I wonder if there are other planets with kids like us." Thrix watched them closely. "Perhaps," he whispered to Krell. "Perhaps there are many species, but none quite like this one. Their creativity, their kindness, it is unmatched." Krell nodded slowly. "Captain, I understand now. They are dangerous, but not in the way we thought. They change hearts, minds, and even technology, without force. That is the true power of humans." Thrix smiled faintly. "Exactly. And that is the lesson we must carry back to the Council. The Zarn realization. As the joint crew traveled through the stars, the Zarn began to see humans in a new light. No longer were they primitive or weak. Instead, they were resilient, adaptable, and inspiring. Even the youngest children showed skills that the most trained Zarn officers lacked. They asked questions that forced the aliens to think in ways they never had before. Thrix stood on the bridge one evening, or what passed as evening in the endless void of space. "Krell," he said quietly, "do you realize what has happened?" Krell looked at him curiously. "Captain?" "We went to study humans," Thrix said, "and we have been taught by them. Not just in science, but in courage, kindness, and curiosity. The galaxy will be different because of them." Krell nodded slowly. "Yes, Captain. Even the children have taught us more than we expected." Thrix smiled. "And that is why the elders must understand. We cannot see humans as threats. We must see them as partners, as inspiration." The children's impact on the Zarn during the journey, the children became integral to ship life. They suggested improvements to the reactor efficiency, explained Earth patterns to help predict star alignments, and even created games to teach aliens empathy and cooperation. Mia suggested a simple idea. "We should give each room a color theme." "It will make work more fun," Leo laughed. "And we can have music while we explore space. Music helps everyone focus." Ryan quietly adjusted a navigation code, making the route more efficient. "I think this will save fuel," he said. Thrix observed all this and realized something profound. The Zarn believed in logic, rules, and order. Humans believed in curiosity, creativity, and kindness. Together, they created something neither species could do alone. Preparing the Council report. When the joint mission reached a safe distance from Earth, Thrix prepared a report for the High Council. He gathered the crew and children on the observation deck. "Today," he began, "we have witnessed the true power of humans, not in their strength or weapons, but in their curiosity, kindness, and ability to inspire. Even the youngest among them, children, can teach lessons that alter the course of our thinking." Creel added, "They improve systems without even trying. They teach without realizing it. They forgive without hesitation. They are extraordinary," Thrix nodded. "I want this report to reach every elder. Not as a warning, but as a lesson. Humans are not to be feared. They are to be celebrated. We should welcome them as partners, not conquerors." The children clapped and cheered. Mia smiled. "We like helping." Leo grinned. "And we want to explore more together." Thrix laughed softly. "Then we shall. Together, we will explore the stars as friends." A new friendship. The journey back to Earth orbit was calm and full of anticipation. Both species had learned something vital. Curiosity, courage, and kindness could build bridges across galaxies. When the ship landed safely near the human settlement, the children waved goodbye to the Zarn crew. Their laughter echoed in the corridors. Dr. Morgan appeared on the hologram. "Thank you, Captain Thrix and your crew. This is only the beginning of our friendship." Thrix bowed. "And it is a friendship we shall cherish." Leo floated toward the observation window, pointing at the stars. "Next time we'll explore even farther." Mia nodded. "And we'll teach you about Earth." Thrix smiled, realizing that the galaxy had changed in ways no one had predicted, all because of the curiosity and courage of human children. The final lesson as the Zarn ship departed once more. Captain Thrix reflected on the adventure. He thought of the Elder's warning humans were dangerous. But now he understood. They were dangerous not because of force, but because of heart. Their curiosity, kindness, and courage could influence, inspire, and change the universe. Even children, small and seemingly fragile, carried that power. Thrix turned to Krell. Remember this, always. Humans are not just another species. They are a lesson, a reminder of what can be achieved when curiosity and courage guide action. Krell nodded solemnly. Yes, Captain. I will never forget. Mia, Leo, Ryan, Zara, and Ethan waved from the observation deck of their shared mission ship, smiling at the aliens who had once feared them. Thrix whispered quietly, "Thank you, children. You have changed more than just our mission. You have changed our hearts, our minds, and perhaps the galaxy itself." The stars stretched endlessly ahead, a vast playground of discovery. And with humans and Zarn exploring together, it was clear that the universe had never been brighter, or more full of hope.